Okay, as secretary reads your name, if you just be kind enough just to come up to the lectern, and then we'll go from there.
Commission will now take up the matter to do with special one-day license applications for malt beverages and wine only. First one is Jason E. Weber of the Merrimack Repertory Theater for theatrical performances by the Merrimack Repertory Theater at Liberty Hall at 50 East Merrimack Street for 2 dates, May 22nd and May 23rd. Corey Belanger? Okay. Father Donald G. Lozier of the Holy Family Parish for Saturday, June 19th, 2010, from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight, the Holy Family Parish Hall at 122 Andrew Street, in the schoolyard adjacent to the building. The event is the Holy Family Parish Festival. Lambros Vortsis of the Gazebo Cafe Grill at the Gazebo Cafe Grill, 491 Dutton Street. 2 applications for malt beverages and wine only for Thursday, June 3rd, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's the ASQ Merrimack Valley Dinner. And Sunday, June 6th, from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., the event is the Demetrius Geodasis Baptism Dinner. Also, for beer and wine only, Robin E. Dupel of the Cobblestones for Sunday, June 6, 2010, from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., the enclosed outdoor area adjacent to 91 Dutton Street. The event is the 16th anniversary of Cobblestones. Father Lozier and Robin Dupel also have applications for special event permits for sound amplification for those 2 events they're hosting.
And Belanger.
Corey's not here.
Here.
I think we could probably proceed forward. I mean, it's not like he hasn't been in front of us before and heard the speech.
Okay.
He's called me, he said he was en route, but he was in traffic
Okay.
or some issue with that.
All right, if you could, one at a time, if you just step up and introduce yourself for the record.
Hi, my name is Jason Weber. I'm from the Merrimack Repertory Theater.
Okay?
Donald Lozier from Holy Family Parish.
Okay, Father?
Abras Wurtzes from Gazebo Cafe.
Okay.
Robin Dupel, Cobblestones Restaurant.
Okay. And then, how many of you have been before us before? Okay, we got 2. Have you been here before, sir? Okay. Then we just have 1 person. Okay, but I think I'm going to give you the abbreviated version. Okay? All right, this is your license. It does not belong to the Merrimack Theater. It does not belong to Cobblestones. It does not belong to Holy Trinity Parish. It belongs to you. You are the one taking out this license, okay? So therefore, you are the one that's responsible. If you should leave and you don't put somebody in charge that's a responsible individual, any actions that they might take, you are responsible for. I usually tell people, be smart enough to have your cell phone programmed with the phone number right to the police department, and be smart enough to know that the moment something starts, and somebody will say, oh, don't worry about it, let it go. Yes, worry about it. Yes, worry about it. Because you're going to get that one fool that's going to buy the 18-year-old son or daughter a sombrero or a drink, and I'm going to guarantee you when they fall down the stairs and split their head open, the parent is not going to stand up and say, oh, it's my fault, I did it. Oh, no, it's your fault, because you enabled me to do this. So therefore, you're going to pay near and dear, because I'm too stupid, first of all, to buy my son or daughter a drink and allow them to get away with it. And secondly, people don't accept responsibility today. So I tell everyone, that's the most important thing to remember. This is your license. And we need people like you to step up to the plate. I know after you say it sounds like I'm discouraging and everything, but we do. We need people to step up and to run functions and to do things to make the city exciting and to bring things into the city of Lowell. But while you're doing that, there are certain things that you just have to keep in control, and this being one of them, okay? Any questions about this at all? Okay, my only question would be, why are there 2 separate dates for the theater with all the other dates? I mean, these 2 weren't included in the Merrimack Theater when they came in for the play dates?
It was a private rental
John, would you go to the microphone, please?
John Dyson, house manager for MRT. It's a private rental by the Rock Opera Company coming in to do Love Songs for Losers specifically this weekend. So that's why they weren't on the initial list when we did the last round, because they had just rented the place recently.
Okay, now, is this gentleman is with the theater?
He is our sound and light design gentleman with the theater.
With the
so
theater,
he will be
so-
there year-round, so that
With the
we'll
city,
both be
okay.
there both days.
I just didn't want somebody coming in from the outside renting
No,
the
no, no,
theater.
this is
and getting a
us.
liquor
They're just
license.
using our
We've had that
space.
happen, okay? Any questions?
No question.
Any questions?
No questions. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Okay? Any questions, anybody? You look like you got a question, you went like that, no? Oh, okay.
And this also applies to the amplification
So,
permits?
yeah, the
Yes.
amplification license is simple. If I can walk 3 blocks from where you're having the party or the festival or whatever you're doing and hear the sound like I'm standing there, it's a little too loud. It's that simple. You always got somebody in there who wants to crank the tunes, Let's give it some bass, Well, it's okay, but within reason, okay?
And this includes Corey Belanger, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give it to Corey. He's been here enough times, but
He doesn't
he
need the
comes in, we
speech.
yell at him anyways for being late. Take care, thank you. Hope you all have a great day.
Commission will now open a hearing on a matter of allegations of illegal activities as filed by the Massachusetts Department of State Police, Motor Vehicle Regulatory Section, and David St. Hilaire, Acting Building Commissioner, Inspectional Services. I apologize. It's one item before the hearing, and that is to do with Barnes & Noble College Booksellers, Melania Callahan, manager, the 151 Merrimack Street, seasonal license for her sidewalk stand permit from May through October.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Manya Callahan, Barnes & Noble.
Okay, you've had to stand outside before, right?
Yes.
Okay. We haven't had any problems that I know of. Biggest thing is you
wild
have to
book
keep
injuries.
4 feet on the walkway for people to get by. That's the only thing that, if you have somebody in a wheelchair, one of those little scooters, so they can get down the sidewalk, and it's plenty wide down in that area.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
See how nice motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes.
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 Thank
Good
you.
luck.
You're welcome. Good luck. I hope you have some great days.
Thank you.
Commission will now open a hearing on the matter of allegations of illegal activities as filed by the Massachusetts Department of State Police, Motor Vehicle Regulatory Section, and David St. Hilaire, Acting Building Commissioner, Inspectional Services, against Paul Galakis, doing business as Scenic Motors, a Class 2 used car dealer licensee, number 580-B, for premises at 220 Tanner Street rear. Mr. Chairman, Mass State Trooper Carolyn Aducci is here with Dave St. Hilaire of the City of Lowell, both here to follow up on written reports that were submitted to the License Commission office and brought to your attention at the last regular meeting, which was May 6th. In addition, Trooper Ducci has also filed additional unofficial documents, I believe you might say, to do with a hearing that was held yesterday to do with the Registry of Motor Vehicles dealer repair section on Mr. Galakis' status.
Okay. He's not here?
Paul Galakis is not here. He was sent notice to appear.
We got a request from his counsel?
Council had filed a request to continue the matter for
he has
June
schedule?
17th. I communicated with the board, could not reach a consensus on the date of June 17th. An alternate date was proposed by one of the members of the commission for June 3rd. Could not reach a consensus, as I could determine in communication with members of the board. So as it stands right now, the action of the board on May 6th was to hold the hearing to this day, May 20th. Carolyn Aducci of the State Police is here. Dave St. Hilaire is here. They're prepared to submit and comment on their reports.
I know that you had communication with Attorney Bratton, who's purportedly representing Mr. Galakos, correct?
Yes.
And did you ever get a response?
he initiated a call requesting the continuance to, and I suggested to him that the next scheduled meetings of the board were for June 3rd and June 17th. He thought on the phone that it would be June 17th would be the best date. I said, I need that letter and request in writing, and I will contact the members of the commission. As a follow-up to the matter, as I just pointed out regarding the consensus on a date, for an alternate date for a hearing, Attorney Bratton never responded to my inquiries. On the day, I think it was Monday of this week, I sent a fax to his office. I called his office first thing in the morning, and I also called his office the second in the afternoon of that same day on Monday. To this day, to this point in time, I have not received a return call from Attorney Bratton.
It'd be my feeling that we move forward.
Mine too, but let's,
You're scheduled for a hearing, the hearing's on today. I would point out with respect to certain information that was relayed from the Registry of Motor Vehicles under Chapter 140, Section 59, you're supposed to have a hearing with one caveat that says the hearing may be dispensed with if the registrar notifies the licensing board that the licensee is not so complying. With respect to so much of the allegations that relate to what was contained in the April 28th, 2010, when I see that it's written by the state trooper who's part of the motor vehicle regulatory section, and it comes with a Section 5 hearing report from the Registry of Motor Vehicles, this is notification that obviates the need for a hearing with respect to this component of what's before this board, because you've been notified by the RMV that they're not compliant.
all right, so we,
We hear from the trooper first, right? Yeah, that's what I would think, right? Get an overview of what's going on, yeah.
okay, Trooper, if you'd be kind enough to come up, and we have a video audience, this is taped, so if you'd give an overview of the complaint and your findings.
I'll try to make it as brief as
Sure,
possible.
pull the mic over towards you so they can hear you, there you go.
Okay. Try to make it as brief as possible. The long and short of it is the unit that I'm assigned to, Motor Vehicle Regulatory Section, we are sent out to various car dealerships, repair garages, owner-contractor corporations, et cetera, to ascertain if they are in compliance with all state laws, rules, regulations, policies, and procedures to qualify and to continue to obtain their dealer plates, repair plates, owner-contractor plates, et cetera. Our unit was sent a complaint against Mr. Galakis, and I believe I've enclosed that in the package, where he had sold one of his dealer plates for $3,000 in cash to a gentleman down the street. And it noted in the complaint that where I would find the vehicle, where it would be located. As part of my investigation and after running Mr. Galakis's criminal history, which is enclosed and is rather extensive, I went to the business and I did confirm that that plate was on said vehicle. I spoke to the gentleman that had the plate, and I believe you have enclosed in your papers that he did sign a written document stating that he did purchase that plate from Mr. Galakis for the sum of $3,000. As a continuation of the investigation, I then went to the location, Scenic Motors, on 220 Tanner Street in Lowell, and conducted a regular investigation. As part of that investigation, I ascertained that there were, it's either 10, 11 offenses, some of them pretty severe violations. We requested a formal hearing at the RMV. We held that hearing. His attorney was present for that first hearing. At the hearing, his attorney at one point decided to speak with him outside because I don't think he realized how many violations there were or how severe some of them were against the car dealership, and he advised him to go for a formal hearing. Although you will see in your documents at the first hearing that the hearings officer, his findings were at fault on all violations. At the formal hearing, which was held yesterday in Worcester at the RMV, he did show up for the hearing. His attorney was with him. And I have a copy of that hearing for you as well. And the findings, as you can see, are at fault on all violations. The recommended action at that formal hearing was to revoke all plates and the permanent revocation of his dealer plates at that dealership. I, along with another trooper from the Andover Barracks, went there last night, and we picked up his dealer plates.
Did you confiscate the plate he sold?
Yes, I have that as well, sir. So basically, our contention on the state police is if you don't have dealer plates, how can you be a car dealership? Our other concern, truth be told, is if you look at page 4 of the 5 pages in his criminal record, the very first offense,
I took a look at it.
and due to that particular offense, that he would be taking women out on test drives in motor vehicles alone. So it is a concern of the state police.
Are there people here to speak? I don't think we can discuss public hearing.
We don't have.
Yeah, you could,
Is there people here to do that?
no, I don't think so. We can ask, but I don't think there is.
No, I know, yeah. Should we open it up for public hearing?
No, I think we'll go.
Unless it's specific to the
I just
complaints
thought
itself.
just-
I know Dave St. Clair could address the
I think
board.
we should.
I
Okay,
just thought
any,
these
do you
two
have any
people were here.
questions?
I have no questions for
Do you have any
What's
questions?
that?
Thank
no
you very
questions.
much. I'd like to ask the
Mother's lives in Lowell.
Oh, okay.
acting building commissioner to step forward and
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
thank you. Ryan Wynn, where's Dave St.
So, yeah,
Elias?
this one, it looks like this. Here, you can use this. That's it, Dave St.
Okay. If you'd introduce yourself for the record, please.
Dave St. Clair, the acting building commissioner for the city of Lowell.
Okay, David, and we all know you, but what I'd like you to do is, in your own words, just, give us in your own, you don't have to read this verbatim unless you want to, but it, where Mr. Galakis isn't here and, we would want the public to be aware that, of our decision, based on fact.
Okay. I'll make it as brief as possible. We received a number of complaints of this property over the years, but recently we received 2 about speeding cars up and down Tanner Street, prostitution, drug activity late in the evening hours. I kept an eye on the place. There are people going in all hours of the night. They actually have somebody living in there. We have some photographs of clothing and where they're sleeping on the bed. There's been a lot of stuff done there without permits. There's no permits for the signage, no permits for the oil tank that was installed, the oil-fired boiler, no permits for the paving of the sidewalk. They have a license for 15 cars. You could only fit 10 on a lot comfortably and be able to get in and out of them. They have the cars overhanging West London Street and out on the Tanner Street blocking the sidewalk. I've talked to some of the neighbors there that run businesses in the area, and they tell horror stories of what goes on at this address. They certainly don't want to come forward because of Mr. Galakis' violent behavior. They're afraid of retaliatory broken windows and stuff, but I would suggest that the License Commission go by and speak to the other people on the street. You'll hear some horror stories of the activity that's gone on and how Mr. Galakis has treated some of his female customers. I have some photographs here, which I don't believe is in your package. I'll present to you.
Okay. As far as the drug activity and whatnot, if you, I mean, I don't know exactly how this works, so I don't want to sound like I'm, butting into it. Have you reported that stuff to the police?
No, I have not.
You haven't?
I saw people going in, up to 11:30 at night.
Well, I mean, you got all these neighbors that are complaining. I wonder if any one of them ever picked up the phone and called Crime Stoppers or something and talked to, they can do it anonymously. It doesn't require anything. You being the building inspector, you can't be at every single building in the city of Lowell 24/7, just as the police can't be at every single business in the city of Lowell 24/7. They need people to at least be concerned enough to do something to help themselves. The city went to a tremendous expense of establishing a Crime Stoppers number because of just what you just said. People are afraid of retaliation, and they don't want to call the police department, but yet there is an avenue out there for them to do this. And, they're going to tell you all these horror stories. And all I would say, Dave, to you, I appreciate what you've done. What and it's very well written up. I don't mean to have you think that I'm chastising you or anything, but the next time the taxpayer says something, say, hey, dummy, there's a phone you can call. You can leave your name. If they catch the person, you can actually make some money on it. They will never know who you are. So for you to tell me means nothing. I am not a police officer. I'm a building inspector. I can come in here and find out what's wrong, but I can't stop the criminal actions that are taking place. And they're the same people that would be down the street saying, where are the police when you need them? Well, they could have been there to do something. Maybe this wouldn't have gotten so far out of hand. I mean, I read your report. I read this state trooper's report. It just sounds to me like, somehow or another, this thing fell through the cracks.
From what I understand, somebody must have called the police because Mr. Galakis has quite a extensive criminal background. So somebody has reported stuff to the police somewhere along the line. Just what, I don't know. We did see some characters going in and out of this establishment at night. One of the young ladies I've seen going in and out happens to work the corner on Westford and Grand Street. We know what her occupation is. She's very well known.
Can I just ask, Mr. St. Hilaire, I'm assuming that you have his report.
Yes.
If you could just state what parts of the building code and zoning ordinance that Mr. Gralakis is in violation of?
He's installed 3 wall signs and a freestanding sign without permits. He's installed an oil-fired furnace without permits. He's also paved the parking lot without the proper permits.
And those are all in violation of?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Is there still the external oil tank? Is that still there, or has that been removed?
The fire department issued a permit to remove that. There's an ordinance in place where permits cannot be issued if there's outstanding taxes, but it was a dangerous situation, so the fire department issued it anyway, and that tank has now been removed, so there's no heat in the building at this time.
Could I ask the solicitor a question? Relative to the revocation of the license, if we were to revoke the license, what would be the ramifications?
I believe the ramifications are similar to, let me just check, but I believe it's similar to a license that it is, that property, that location, I believe, is kept for a period of time, and it may mean that Mr. Gralakis is not entitled to get another one. But if you give me a minute, I just found out about this recently.
I guess my concern would be, if we revoke the license, which from what's been presented today seems like a reasonable thing to do, my concern is for that neighborhood having,
I did find that if you revoke the license, no new license shall be granted to such person thereafter, nor to any person for use on the same premises without the approval of the registrar. So if you revoke it, something could go in, but only if the Registry of Motor Vehicles approves it.
Yeah, but
Any other business can go in, but another used car business would need approval from the registrar.
Correct.
Okay.
I guess,
So
just,
just to carry that one step, how difficult is that to do? How difficult, if I'm a legitimate, maybe you could answer this, Trooper, if I had a used car lot and I've got I've been in business for 15 years and I've never had any problems and I all of a sudden want to rent this place, how difficult is it for me to go to the registrar to get a license to use that lot?
If you're a reputable car dealer and you haven't had your plates revoked for any reason in the past, it should not be that difficult.
Okay, that's important.
Yes, it's a situation more where I think we're concerned about this particular
individual.
If you revoke his
individual, as
license,
opposed
he
to
also
the
cannot get a
premises.
license unless it's approved by the registry.
I guess my concern was, this location on Tanner Street, I mean, that's a pretty commercial street, but that's the business that's most in proximity to residents, just the way, is it London and, or whatever street
yeah.
that?
Yeah, in the corner,
Right
right
there on the
across the
corner.
mill.
I mean, there are some houses in that area, so my concern would be if we revoked the license and you couldn't put another dealership there or any other business for 2 years, or like there is with the liquor license, I'd be afraid that that area would become run down. But, I would, my feeling would be to revoke the license.
I was going to say, what I note that I passed was a potential solution, and I want to ask the city solicitor's opinion on it. Can we have the exact same effect without having the collateral consequence of closing the address down? Were we to vote to suspend Mr. Galakis' license for the remainder of the year until the end of the year and simultaneously vote not to renew his license? That would effectively close down that business and not have the effect of needing to go to the registrar for approval for a new business to subsequently open there.
Well, it would only be, you'd only need the registrar's approval for a used car license.
Which is
You
what that
certainly-
whole section of, I mean, Tanner Street pretty much is used car dealers.
You can suspend the license. Can you now rule that you won't renew it in January? I
only
think
that,
that gets, if you revoke the license, it's clean. Not that, suspending it isn't as, it's not as clean. That if you were to do anything, revocation, it's the cleanest way.
I'll let you finish.
It's the cleanest way to handle this as opposed to doing a suspension and then addressing a non-renewal.
My concern with the suspension is, I know we've had issues with this gentleman in the past, and now getting all of the issues that are at the property.
Right.
And his background, if we revoke it, he can't get a license again for a certain period of time.
He will not be able to get a secondhand license ever unless the registry approves it, which, given what we now know,
Right.
would seem to be
And
remote.
I think that would protect not only the city of Lowell, but other communities in the
neighborhood, too.
Commonwealth, that, this guy isn't operating a business. So that's why I would lean towards revoking.
Plus, you took his plates.
Right, how
So,
can you do
that's a
business
hug without a kiss. Where do you go, You can't take the cars anywhere. And certainly, I think that Captain Webb can make the department aware of the fact that, if the neighbors are complaining about cars racing up and down the street without a plate, well, they'll keep an eye on that. But, I tend to agree with revoking it only from the standpoint that, it's got a twofold purpose. The other purpose being, in many ways, it would make it difficult for him to get a straw buyer. In other words, put somebody else in there working for him. background, so it would keep him out of the loop, and that's more important to me.
Good point, too. So I'll make a motion to revoke the license.
I'll second.
Second. Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank you very
And
much.
can I just point out that, for clarification, that the hearing was scheduled for today, that he did receive notice. His attorney requested a continuance. That condition was not granted. Neither he nor his attorney appeared today, and that you received documentary evidence from both the Registry of Motor Vehicles and from the building department, as well as photographs that it was incorporated into this hearing.
Dave, do you want these pictures?
You probably want to add them to the record.
Have them become a part of the record? You didn't get any pictures of it.
This is the package. Everybody's been notified.
Everyone's been notified.
Commission will now open up a public hearing on the application by Riverhawks Inc. Robert B. Barnett is the president for the all-alcoholic beverages restaurant license and license for common vittler for premises at 300 Martin Luther King Jr. Way, known as the Songus Center at UMass Lowell. The premises would include level 1 rink, lockers, level 2 entry, level 3 concourse, and there are 2 outdoor sites, one on the northerly side nearest to the Merrimack River, and Lot B, which is at the east side of the Songus Center. This matter before the License Commission is in compliance with the Chapter 19 of the Acts of 2010 of the Massachusetts Legislature. It's an act relative to the Lowell Civic Stadium Commission. Proposed as manager of record for Riverhawks Inc. is Bruce J. Perry of Groveland, Mass.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Mr. Chairman, George Ciolides Jr., 133 Market Street, Lowell, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant. And I can't help but think that I heard the chairman say earlier with the one-day licenses that he wanted to make things exciting in Lowell. Well, that's what these folks are about to do, given the possibilities today to get a license and go forward. I think I can say that the university has assembled an all-star team. They're all back here now. I'm just going to give you an idea of who they are, and a couple of them will maybe say a few words to you as to their background, our manager, et cetera, and the rest of them are all here to answer any questions that the commissioners might have. First, we have Joanne Yastrzemski, who's the Vice Chancellor of Administration and Finance, Facilities and Technology. You could probably guess that
We picked her out,
You could
George,
probably guess
really.
that that's Joanne.
Yeah, we're sharp.
Yeah, and she's the quarterback of the team that went and put this all together. I think you met her when she came in. She's one of the principals of Riverhawks Inc. and was here for the ICC Center application. I have Bob Burnett. Bob is this fellow here who's newly involved, or relatively newly involved with the university. Bob has a ton of experience, and I can just say that most recently he's been both at Middlesex Community College, so he's familiar with the city and the area, as well as Bentley University. His job is basically Executive Director of Administrative Services, and he kind of oversees an awful lot of these things. Bruce Perry is our designated manager, and Bruce has, I think you see from the application we sent in, a wealth of experience in the food and beverage industry dating back to his days at Acton at the, the name of the Rusty Scupper, yes. I think I've been there a few times in the old days. And in addition to that, we have Peter Casey, who's the Director of Athletic Business Enterprises, and going to be sort of like the business manager kind of thing. Bruce is a fellow Bowdoin alumni and friend of mine, so I have to just give that pitch for our college days. We have Troy Flynn. Troy is currently the director of the Mullins Center, UMass Amherst, and works for Global Spectrum. Global Spectrum is our newly hired manager of the entire Tsongas Center and its operation. And Leif Erickson, great name. Leif Erickson is the manager of the ICC Center, and I think we can all say he's done a great job so far in that capacity. And I think I covered the operation. Briefly, you know, I always try to be brief. Yes, as Mr. Nguyen rightly pointed out, the Tsongas Center is currently licensed under a special act, a prior special act, the beauty of which was when it was passed by the legislature that it didn't take any of the regular licenses away from the city of Lowell. I think you're aware of that fact, so we don't lose any licenses. The new special act, Chapter 19, as Mr. Nguyen pointed out, basically enables the same kind of a situation for a beer and for an all-alcoholic beverage license to be issued for the operation of the Tsongas Center, and doesn't take away from any of that. The chancellor has designated, and I think I gave you copies of the designation in the file, Riverhawks Inc., who is the holder of the license for the ICC, to also be the holder of the license for the Tsongas Center if you deem it appropriate to issue. I think the special act, I don't know if if that's in their package, but the special act indicates that the license holder should be that person who's designated by the chancellor, so we had that designation made to clarify the record on that. What basically...
Excuse me, George, can I just interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
Okay. Who's going to be the Perry, Bruce Perry? Bruce Perry is...
The license holder is Riverhawks Inc., and I should have mentioned that. I'm sorry. Bruce works for Aramark, and Aramark is the current food provider for the entire university system in Lowell.
Okay.
And they're also the food and beverage provider at the ICC Center.
Yep.
And the university felt it would be appropriate to have them also do the Tsongas Center.
Okay.
Bruce, our application indicates today, will be the person who will be the manager of both of those facilities should you grant the license.
Okay.
And he'll give you a
I
little
thought you tripped,
rundown.
I'm sorry, I just...
No, that's fine. I should have made
Yeah.
that clearer.
Okay,
It
so-
actually was, you've saved me some words, Mr.
Well,
Chairman. 'Cause was gonna-
I think that all of us sitting here can cut to the quick. You certainly have a very impressive board and whatnot, okay?
We do.
Bottom line, it doesn't matter who's on the board or what titles they hold or what positions they hold. Bottom line, everybody looks at Bruce. Man, you're the guy with your name on the ticket. It's that simple, okay? And so, you know, it's his experience, it's his responsibility, and certainly he has obviously many capable hands that can have eyes and ears and whatnot, and I must say that they've done a fabulous job over here at the in Conference Center. You know, when it was first talked about and whatnot, I gotta be honest, I was one of these people that was concerned, but to be honest with you, I've been there for a number of events, and they've just done an unbelievable job, unbelievable in comparison to what that place used to be like, the service, the people that work there. They really should be proud of what they've done. And nobody, I mean, every taxpayer in the city of Lowell wants to see them to be successful at the Tsongas Arena. I mean, it's, you know,
It doesn't matter.
it's that simple. So as long as, you know, as far as I'm concerned, as long as Mr. Perry understands his responsibility, and the rest of the folks understand that the only thing they can do is help him.
Right.
Because bottom line, it's his license, its name is on the ticket.
Yeah, I'm going to say no more and have Mr. Perry come up so he can answer any,
Let me just double check for clarification. You're proposing that he wear the hat for both locations,
Right.
correct?
Yes.
ICC and the arena. All right.
And you've been the manager at the ICC, right?
I'm the,
newly designated.
well, I'm the district manager that oversees all of the campuses. Leaf actually runs the ICC.
Okay.
So,
That's a great job. He deserves more money.
good, great. Glad to hear it.
I'm going to make a motion that he get a 10% raise today.
I just appreciate to get up in front and just explain a little bit. I've been with Aramark for over 22 years, most recently at Boston University, in the same capacity, overseeing Walter Brown Arena and Nickerson Field, doing events, the Boston Cannons, Terrier Hockey. So I understand the complexity of the service of alcohol and having employees tip trained and having, we designate a manager to be a liquor compliance manager, that all they do during events is monitor and understand what is happening at each event. So I understand the complexity in the business.
That's all I need to know as far as I don't know. Anything? You have anything you'd like to know?
No, I just noticed that the license is gonna be altered from what it is presently now, that Lot B is gonna be part of the license, which is in between Tremont Place and the arena.
Correct.
Right.
The reason we included that, Commissioner, occasion is there will be some occasions where they want to put a tent out in the lot and have a special event or whatever it is, and rather than come every time for a special one-day license kind of thing, we thought that would be appropriate.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
I presume, I don't know, were we supposed to open this up to the anybody here to speak in opposition, opposition? You lose. It's all set.
No, I'm sorry, we have one other piece of business. Right, Ryan, we have a public hearing for the change of manager. Is it a public hearing? Or is part of your vote should be the change of manager for the ICC as well?
Yeah, well,
I think we just approved that, but okay.
We just approved that.
Formally, I'll make the motion to approve the change.
Okay, if you want to
Second it.
Yeah.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Good
coming
luck.
out today, guys.
Thanks for
Appreciate
coming
it.
out. Appreciate it.
And spend that
Best of
10%
luck.
raise well. You heard us vote on it, so.
When's the restaurant opening? When's the restaurant?
Send a bill for his increase in salary?
There's the money, man.
When is the restaurant opening over at the ICC? They sent a notice out to the Rotary Club this week.
Yes, the ribbon cutting is May 26th.
May 26th?
That's for the rooms.
Yes, the restaurant will open in coordination with that.
Okay, that'll be a good one, you know? You guys have done a great job with the play, I can't tell you.
Thank you.
We had the Teacher of the Year award there. And I gotta tell you, I mean, in comparison to other years and everything, you've just done a fabulous job. People wait on you, people smile. You know, it was laughed because one of the waiters that was there coming to it, I said, boy, you want a holdover from the other regime. And he kind of looked at me, said, what do you, I said, oh, you'd never understand, you know. But you've done a wonderful job with it.
Thank you very much.
Share your comments with the chance, but I'm sure you'd appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
Commission,
Ryan, am I all
Mr.
set? Am I all set?
Okay.
Bye, George.
Thank you.
Commission will now take up matter to do with communications from the Superintendent of Police, Kenneth E. LaValle. On the agenda, I have noted 4 specific complaints for 4 licensees. There is also a 5th. Earlier this afternoon, I received the original notice from the superintendent's office, and I'll just cite all 5 of them. These are allegations of misconduct against all alcoholic beverage restaurant licensees, starting with first being TR Enterprises, Inc., doing business as El Rincon at 135 Central Street. Ray Serrano is the manager of record. The second is Kilkenny Pub, doing business as Kilkenny Pub, 660 Rogers Street. Richard S. Barrett, manager. Third is Yun Long, Inc., doing business as Super Bowl Restaurant and Pub at 1733 Middlesex Street. Hong Pham is the manager of record. Fourth is Puff Inc., at 171 Lakeview Avenue. Claude Charlotte is the manager. And the 5th is Sangria's Inc. at 179 Central Street. Michael Doyle, manager.
Okay, we gotta schedule them for, now, you had the other dates. What,
Well, if I can just,
Yeah.
I might want to, first of all, I was thinking, and if I may just speak about
Think away.
my thought on the adjusting our June schedule, month of June schedule, but unfortunately, we already have a hearing set for June the 3rd. We're scheduled to meet again after today, June 3rd and June 17th. The June 3rd date, there was a hearing on an application for a new license for 74 Merrimack Street, Beck's Inc. So that's pretty much set in stone. It's been advertised, it will be advertised in tomorrow's local newspaper, and it's required of the applicant to notify the property owners touching, which the applicant's attorney had failed to do, and as we discussed previously in our last meeting. I checked with the city mayor's office to ascertain if there were other open dates. I was advised as of this morning that open dates for June 10th and June 24th. Now, also, we're scheduled to meet again on June 17th after June 3rd. And I know June 17th is kind of a date in the month of the calendar where it's possible that the License Commission may not have a quorum, as I've understand it from conversations I've had with members of the commission, independent of the regular meeting, on various scheduling issues. So whether the board would be inclined, I know you have to schedule 5 hearings on 5 complaints, and whether the board would want to weigh the thought of.
Well, since we've got the issue out there with respect to whether or not the 17th will be a potential quorum, I don't know what your thoughts are, if we could just move that day to the 24th, and we could schedule some hearings for that day.
What day?
Cancel the 17th and reschedule it for the 24th, 1 week back. Does anybody have a problem with that?
That'd be good for me.
I don't know. I didn't bring my stupid calendar with me.
So meet on June 3rd and June 24th?
Gotta check his calendar.
All these fang-dangle things.
You know, you can actually use those things to put your calendar on the phone.
I should have been. Hold on for a second, no problem. We'll find out right now. Hi. Hi, when am I gonna be away for that? In June? I know, when am I gonna be away? Okay, fine, thank you. Yep, that's no problem.
So I'll make a motion to move the meeting that's regularly scheduled for June 17th until June 24th.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we'll have one on the 24th, and we'll have one on
July 8th.
July 8th. Okay.
No, June 3rd.
Well, June
June
3rd.
3rd and June 24th.
June 24th, and then July 8th.
No, and weighing the scheduling hearings for complaints,
June 3rd, right there.
June
Regularly
3rd would
scheduled.
not be a convenient time to impose a notice to the licensee of a
With respect to potential rollback.
decrease in hours, because it's required a 14 days minimum notice to the licensee of a.
And we're not gonna make 14 days.
Right.
It would be like
It would be
too
tough.
much. It would be easier to do it if not June 10th, obviously June 24th obviously would be the.
Yeah. Why don't we start scheduling stuff then for June 24th?
Okay.
So,
Well, you know, I mean, okay.
I mean, I think at least when I reviewed the complaints, I think one of them is at least still under, like, the investigation is still open on at least one of them. Or at least there were no names listed.
What's the drop dead for the proper notice? What's the date for the rollback, the 14 days? I don't have a full calendar ahead of me.
Well, if a notice was sent out today.
Yeah.
You would just make the deadline, you would meet the 14-day requirement if you were holding hearing on a June 3rd.
Oh, okay.
You would
So if we gave them notice today, we should run it down to them and hand it to them.
Yeah, that's, okay. I just.
Yeah. That's, let's just put it on for the
Well,
24th.
from reading the allegations, without making any judgment as to the allegations, it would seem that TR Enterprises, Inc., seems like that should be dealt with first, I would think. At least that's my feeling. And also Puff Inc., because they've been in here numerous times.
yeah.
Those seem like the two most serious, just looking at the reports and the complaints.
Okay, let's ask ourselves a question. Suppose we dropped to the 10th. That would give
But
us
we have
another.
a hearing already scheduled for the 3rd.
It's been scheduled for a hearing on the Beck Sink application. I mean, you could meet on June 3rd and June 10th, but I don't know if you,
Well, you know, I mean, we're starting to put these, you know, putting these things off. I don't know. I just feel myself that we're putting them off.
Based on other conversations we're going to have, you may want to consider June 10th. Because one of the things that needs to be discussed is the pawnbroker issue, which will require a public hearing. And also, I know, in speaking with the police department, one of the concerns is certain establishments that allow 18 enter, 20, 18 to party, 21 to drink, and trying to get, a proposed regulation before you. Lawrence has one that essentially bans anyone after 11 o'clock. Anyone who's under 21 has to be gone from the premises by 11 o'clock. And that applies to any place with a DJ, live music. However, in Lowell, one of the concerns is, well, you have, Athenian Corner comes to mind of a place that has entertainment, but is clearly always a restaurant. One of the things would be to get something for you, and that also would have to go to a public hearing. So, and that would like to be done, I mean, maybe that is only in June, but I know, July. I know the pawnbroker rate, I do know the state would like to do that sooner rather than later, but maybe that's in July as well. But if that's going to be in July, those two things, that's still additional time that will be eaten up when you have 5 matters currently before you for disciplinary stuff.
I just think we're myself, and I'm not trying to put any more of a burden on anybody than we have to, but we've got 5, and we got to get it. I think that we lose a lot in the fact that we allow them to. Not just we don't act quick enough on the complaints, while.
Something else could happen.
Right, exactly.
Do we get paid overtime?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll talk to Bernie, you can put it, just slip in, don't worry about it.
Suggestion box.
I mean,
Suggestion box.
I just anticipate that, we're gonna schedule something, we're gonna create a specific meeting for June 10th. We're gonna get notice out to people, and I guarantee you right now, if they walked into their lawyer's office today and said, I have a hearing on June 10th, they're gonna say, dude, my dance card is full until, so,
Well, I think sometimes,
not a lot of
okay, let's
lawyers
go
sitting
on,
around
all
who
right,
don't have their calendar planned out for 2
But then the problem
weeks.
is, you've got to look at the gravity of the complaint, and, I think that Brian just put it very, some of these guys have been before us. The longer we allow this to carry on, whether it's another week, or 2 weeks, or a month, all we're doing really is playing with dynamite. We know that they're a problem, and we're throwing the thing up in the air, hoping that we're not going to miss it when it comes down. All we got to do is establish a policy. We don't, we don't give. We're not going to give you an extension. No. This is your day in court.
Well, what if we have the meeting the 3rd, right? We could have our second meeting the 10th, correct?
Sure.
And have it back-to-back Thursdays, and but we're not gonna be able to have 5 hearings on one day, are we?
Why?
Okay, I mean, if you wanna have 5 hearings on one day, that's fine.
I wouldn't suggest it, because any one of those hearings, well, assuming nobody's seeking a continuance on the hearing date, which is well within the realm of possibility, and more often than not, the board has been obliging the request if it's through the attorney, legal counsel for a licensee. But to schedule all 5 at one time, on one date. Any one of those hearings could be, could be overtime then, and then some.
I mean, I'm willing to have 3 meetings.
Yeah.
But with the caveat that I could be unavailable for any one of the 3 meetings.
You could be unavailable for either the 10th or 17th, is my
17th.
assumption, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So we need 2 members to have a quorum, and that's what we're shooting for, is to make sure we can have at least 2 members.
Yeah. Let's go for the 3 meetings.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's fine.
So
Now, if you don't want to do 5 of them at once,
3, 10, and 24?
Sure.
Sure.
All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
And so in terms of having before you, say for the meeting of June the 10th, we can start with the first 3, TR Enterprises,
Yep.
Kilkenny, in New Long.
Yeah, I would like if we could have Puff Inc.
Okay.
instead of the Kilkenny, just because from reading the police
So
report.
TR,
a little
New
more,
Long,
yeah.
and Puff on the 10th of June.
Yes.
And on the 24th, we would have Kilkenny and Sangrias.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to have a hearing on that, the pawnbrokers too, correct?
And the issue.
When do you think
That's
you
not
can have
until
the,
July, though, you said.
No.
when can we have the draft for the 18-plus regulation, and when can we get a draft for the proposed pawnbroker?
Well, the pawnbroker one's gonna be easy. I mean, that's gonna be, we've already had a hearing before, it wasn't approved. The Attorney General's office then went and had conversations with the pawnbrokers in the city, reached agreements with them because they were pawning out at rates that weren't approved by the Division of Bank, which posed issues. Those issues have been resolved, so we could put that on. I mean, literally, that's just going to say, set the rate, and
So it's just a matter of publishing notice to the public?
yes, and
Put it
it's
on for
one
the
where
10th.
the pawnbrokers have reached agreements not to pawn above 3% monthly and 30% yearly. So the only people who it would affect are already doing those pawnbroking rates. This is more of an official stamp thing, so I can't imagine that hearing being of any lengthy duration.
Yeah.
And I can get you something on the 18 to 21 on short order, and get that,
I'm assuming that one's got to be.
that'll be
that one's
early,
gotta be
early next
published
week.
as well?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So those both could be put on for June
Get
10th.
us a
So at
copy of
least
that,
you'd have-
Lawrence, when you do come up with this.
I can get you the Lawrence one right away, but again, the one concern was for, again, the one that popped out in my mind was Athenian Corner.
My first reaction to that is, who is going to enforce this? I mean, we're gonna supposedly make the bartenders and the owners enforce it.
Yeah, you're also going to end up in this situation where
No,
somebody
this
does a
is-
hall
this is the
rental
question
and
that I
has
had addressed
a
with
party with family members
Just
and
to
has a
see
DJ.
if there is a reasonable,
Yeah.
and we can look at it, and there may
Yeah,
not
So
be a
let's take a
reasonable,
look at what the
but-
proposal is.
Yeah.
Well, if you want, I mean, one of the first things could be you look at the proposal before it goes
Public hearing.
public.
Public hearing.
That's fine.
So can you have a proposal for us for the June 3rd meeting and,
I won't be here June 3rd, but I can have it
Okay.
done by then.
and then we can look at it at that meeting and then we can schedule a hearing date for it, I think. That might be,
Sure.
if that's, if you need 10th, I mean, that's fine too.
And
Don't
if you
matter.
can't get it done by June 3rd, I understand, because I know with the holiday weekend coming up, and we've gone however many years without a regulation.
Right,
so
it's just
another-
more or less,
another
I was
week's
looking
not
at
gonna
it
kill
as,
Yeah.
ideally, I would have liked to, I was looking at it as if we have 2 notices with, one notice for 2 things, we're saving, 50%. However, if it can't be worked, there's no rush, especially with all this other stuff. My thought would be, look, you can look at it then, but maybe it gets pushed over to July, because obviously these things are more pressing, but, it may explain, some of the problems.
Right.
Okay. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
I'd just like to say on behalf of Commissioner Bayless and myself, I'd like to wish Commissioner Weicker a happy 40th
Happy
birthday.
birthday. We were gonna, we should have sang for it.
No, that's okay.
No,
You don't have to
really,
sing, but thank
okay.
you.
Yeah.
And with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Coming home, Benjamin, and we want to say
Isn't it coincidental?
hi
that
to
it's-
Paul and Warren
it's
at
4
Lowe's.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so you just add the 0, it's 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Brutal.